The sky turned an unnatural shade of metallic gray as the first Krylax ships breached Earth's atmosphere. Hyun Park watched from the reinforced observation deck of the European Continental Defense Command, his weathered hands gripping the edge of the holographic display. Tiny blue indicators represented human defense positions, rapidly being overwhelmed by the pulsing red markers of alien invasion points. Yuna Kim stood beside him, her fingers dancing across multiple communication channels. The past weeks had been a nightmare of continuous bombardment and strategic retreat. Earth's major cities had fallen one by one: Tokyo, Los Angeles, Beijing, each loss cutting deeper into humanity's already wounded spirit. The Ardennes region, once a historic battleground during World War II, now became humanity's last potential sanctuary. Rolling forests and complex terrain offered something the aliens couldn't easily counter: unpredictability. "They're pushing harder in the Western Quadrant," Yuna said, her voice steady, despite the chaos surrounding them. A massive holographic projection showed the invasion pattern, methodical, almost clinical in its approach to planetary conquest. Hyun understood something the aliens didn't. Humans weren't just another species to be cataloged and eliminated. They were survivors, adaptable, driven by an incredible capacity to evolve under pressure. The first wave of Krylax ground troops looked nothing like traditional science fiction monsters. They were sleek, biomechanical creatures with exoskeletons that shifted color like advanced camouflage. Each unit moved with precise mathematical coordination, designed to eliminate resistance with minimal energy expenditure. But they hadn't encountered human resilience before. In underground research, facilities scattered across Europe, teams like J. Choi's were working frantically. Every captured piece of alien technology became a potential weapon. Every unusual signal was analyzed, every fragment of communication decoded. The initial invasion caught most of the world's military forces completely off guard. Traditional weapons seemed almost laughable against the advanced Krylax technology. Tanks, fighter jets, and missile systems were neutralized within hours of first contact. Yet something fundamental about human nature began to emerge. Where other species might have surrendered, humans began to fight back with unconventional methods. Small resistance groups formed rapidly. They weren't traditional military units anymore, but adaptable cells of scientists, engineers, and civilians who understood that survival meant thinking differently. Hyun remembered briefing his team about their primary strategy. "We're not going to fight them head-on," he had explained. "We're going to make this planet so complicated, so unpredictable, that conquering us becomes more expensive than it's worth." The Ardennes forest became their primary staging ground. Dense woodland, complex terrain, underground networks, all became potential defensive positions. The same landscape that had once witnessed human conflict during World War II would now become a battleground against an alien invasion. Communication. Networks were deliberately fragmented. Traditional centralized command structures were abandoned. Each resistance group operated with minimal external contact, making it impossible for the Krylax to predict or eliminate human resistance completely. Yuna's team had discovered something critical in the first weeks of invasion. The Krylax, for all their technological superiority, struggled with environmental complexity. Their computational systems worked best in predictable, linear environments. The messy, chaotic nature of Earth's ecosystems became humanity's unexpected defense. As night fell over the Ardennes, small human teams began moving through the forest. They carried modified equipment, jury-rigged from alien technology and human innovation. Nothing looked like traditional military gear anymore. Camouflage had become an art form of survival. Hyun watched the initial tactical displays. The first, true test was about to begin. The Krylax thought they were approaching a final conquest. They didn't realize they were walking into a fight that would redefine their understanding of resistance. The forest seemed to breathe around them. Ancient trees that had witnessed human conflicts for centuries now prepared to witness another battle. This time, the stakes were not just territorial. They were existential. Humanity's last gamble was about to begin in the forests of Ardennes. The underground research facility hummed with an electric tension. Jay Choi stood before a table covered in dismantled alien technology, his eyes scanning each component with a mix of scientific curiosity and desperate hope. Scattered around him were pieces of equipment that looked like they belonged to both human and alien worlds, a chaotic mosaic of survival. Outside, the world continued to burn. Krylax ships periodically passed overhead, their massive shadows blocking out sunlight and casting an eerie metallic glow across the landscape. But inside this hidden facility, something remarkable was happening. Weeks of careful study had revealed surprising weaknesses in the alien technology. The Krylax relied heavily on quantum communication networks that worked perfectly in predictable environments. But Earth was anything but predictable. Jay's team had discovered that the alien exoskeletons, while incredibly advanced, had specific electromagnetic frequency vulnerabilities. Each suit could be disrupted if they could generate the right interference pattern. It wasn't about matching their technology. It was about understanding its fundamental limitations. A young engineer named Min brought over a prototype suit. It looked nothing like traditional military gear. Layers of adaptive material shifted colors and textures, mimicking the surrounding environment with near-perfect precision. Embedded quantum processors allowed the suit to read and adapt to environmental changes in milliseconds. "We're not trying to fight like them," Jay explained to his team. "We're going to fight like us, unpredictable, adaptive, creative." The first breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A captured communication module revealed that the Krylax processed information through a hive-like network. Break one connection, and the entire system would temporarily destabilize. It was like finding the perfect weak point in a complex machine. Hyun Park visited the facility occasionally, bringing captured alien equipment and strategic insights. His military background combined with Jay's scientific approach created a unique problem-solving environment. They weren't just developing weapons. They were reimagining human technological potential. The adaptive suits became their first major innovation. Unlike traditional military equipment, these suits could change properties based on environmental conditions. In a forest, they would blend perfectly with trees and shadows. In urban environments, they could mimic building materials and architectural surfaces. Embedded neural interfaces allowed wearers to control the suit's capabilities through thought. A soldier could now become virtually invisible, regulate body temperature, and communicate through encrypted quantum channels that the Krylax couldn't easily intercept. Weapon development took an equally creative approach. Traditional firearms were replaced with modular systems that could reconfigure based on tactical needs. A single device could transform from a long-range precision instrument to a close combat tool in seconds. Energy generation became another critical area of research. The team discovered they could harvest energy from the alien technology itself. Each captured device became not just a weapon, but a potential power source. They were turning the invasion's technology against the invaders. Communication networks were deliberately kept fragmented. Each resistance group operated with minimal external contact, making it impossible for the Krylax to predict or eliminate human technological capabilities completely. Yuna Kim's analysis team worked alongside Jay, breaking down alien communication protocols. They discovered that the Krylax communication systems, while advanced, followed strict mathematical patterns. By understanding these patterns, humans could create deliberate disruptions. The facility became a beacon of hope. Every captured piece of technology represented a potential breakthrough. Every strange signal was a puzzle waiting to be solved. The human capacity for innovation was turning into their most powerful weapon. As weeks passed, the first enhanced units began training. Soldiers who were once traditional military personnel now looked more like technological shamans, part warrior, part scientist, completely unpredictable. Jay looked at the prototype suits and weapons. They weren't just defensive tools anymore. They represented something more profound: humanity's ability to adapt, to transform, to survive against impossible odds. The Krylax thought they were conquering a planet. They didn't realize they were teaching humans how to evolve. Outside, another alien ship passed overhead. Inside the facility, Humanity was preparing its response. The technological adaptation had begun. The forests of Ardennes transformed into a living battlefield. Hyun Park watched from a concealed command center as human resistance units moved like ghosts through dense woodland. Their adaptive suits blended perfectly with trees, rocks, and shadows, turning the complex terrain into a deadly trap for the unsuspecting Krylax invasion force. Each movement was calculated, each position strategically chosen. The humans were no longer defending, they were hunting. Smaller resistance teams had discovered something critical about the alien tactical systems. The Krylax operated with mathematical precision, which made them predictable. Their computational networks struggled with organic, unpredictable environments. The forest became a perfect weapon. A Krylax patrol unit moved through the dense woodland. Their advanced sensors scanned the environment, searching for human signatures. But the adaptive suits developed by Jay's team made detection nearly impossible. Heat signatures, electromagnetic emissions, even quantum-level communications were carefully masked. Underground tunnel networks, originally built during World War II and enhanced by modern technology, allowed human units to move undetected. These pathways became arteries of resistance, connecting different fighting groups and allowing rapid, unexpected deployments. Yuna Kim's communication disruption algorithms worked perfectly. Each Krylax battle unit became increasingly isolated, unable to coordinate effectively. What seemed like simple communication interference was actually a sophisticated psychological warfare technique. The first major ambush happened in a narrow mountain pass. A Krylax mechanized unit, believing they had cornered a human resistance group, walked into a carefully prepared trap. Adaptive explosive devices, developed from reverse-engineered alien technology, triggered with precise quantum synchronization. The explosion wasn't just destructive, it was a message. Humans were no longer victims. They were becoming predators. Tactical teams led by veterans like Hyun understood something fundamental. This wasn't about winning through overwhelming force. It was about making the cost of conquest impossibly high. Each kilometer of territory would become a nightmare for the invaders. Communication between human resistance units happened through encrypted quantum channels that the Krylax couldn't easily track. Small teams operated with minimal external contact, creating a decentralized network that was impossible to completely neutralize. The adaptive suits played a crucial role. Soldiers could change thermal signatures, blend with surrounding environments, and move with minimal detection. A single unit could now effectively engage much larger alien formations through strategic disruption and psychological warfare. Krylax command structures began to show signs of confusion. Their computational models couldn't predict human behavior. Every tactical scenario they had prepared failed when confronted with human creativity and adaptability. In one remarkable incident, a small human team managed to capture an entire Krylax communication node. The information harvested provided critical insights into alien strategic thinking. Each piece of intelligence became a weapon, each captured technology a potential game changer. The forest itself seemed to fight alongside the humans. Complex terrain, unpredictable weather patterns, and biological diversity became additional defensive mechanisms. The Krylax, designed for precise, controlled environments, found themselves struggling against Earth's inherent complexity. Hyun understood that this wasn't just a military campaign. It was a fundamental challenge to the alien understanding of conquest. Humans weren't just fighting, they were evolving in real time, turning every limitation into a potential advantage. Psychological warfare became as important as physical combat. Deliberate communication disruptions, strategic misinformation, and unexpected attack patterns began to break alien morale. The Krylax were discovering that mathematical precision meant nothing against human unpredictability. As winter approached, the Ardennes landscape became a shifting, dangerous environment. Human resistance units moved like shadows, striking with precision and then vanishing. Each engagement cost the Krylax more than simple territorial loss. It cost them their sense of computational superiority. The counteroffensive had begun, and The aliens were about to learn that humanity was not a species to be conquered. The forest watched. The humans waited. The real battle was just beginning. The silence was more terrifying than any weapon. Yuna Kim understood psychological warfare. It wasn't about loud explosions, but quiet, calculated disruption. The Krylax communication networks began experiencing strange, unexplainable interruptions that went beyond simple technological interference. Human resistance teams started broadcasting carefully constructed signals that mimicked alien communication protocols. These weren't random transmissions, but precisely engineered messages designed to create doubt and confusion within the alien command structures. In one critical operation, Jay's team discovered a way to inject subtle computational errors into Krylax tactical systems. These weren't massive disruptions that would be immediately detected, but microscopic changes that slowly eroded their strategic confidence. The alien troops began experiencing something they had never encountered before. Uncertainty. Their highly predictive computational systems suddenly couldn't calculate human movement patterns. Every tactical projection became unreliable. Hyun Park's strategy involved making the entire European landscape a psychological nightmare. Resistance. Groups spread deliberate misinformation through quantum communication channels, false troop movements, phantom resistance units, strategically placed decoy technologies. Everything designed to make the Krylax question their own perception. Deep in captured alien communication networks, human analysts inserted carefully constructed digital artifacts. These weren't simple viruses or traditional hacking attempts. They were complex psychological triggers that exploited fundamental weaknesses in alien computational thinking. The Krylax began experiencing something close to what humans would call anxiety. Their hive-mind communication networks started showing unprecedented levels of internal conflict. Units that were once perfectly synchronized now showed signs of hesitation and miscommunication. Strategic disinformation campaigns targeted specific vulnerabilities in alien psychological structures. Human teams understood that the Krylax processed information through mathematical probability models. By introducing unexpected variables, they could create computational paralysis. In one remarkable operation, a small resistance team managed to broadcast a series of quantum encrypted signals that mimicked high-level alien command communications. These transmissions contained subtle contradictions and strategic inconsistencies that slowly undermined the aliens' confidence in their own leadership. The adaptive suits developed earlier played a crucial role. Soldiers could now not just hide, physically, but create complex digital signatures that confused alien tracking systems. A single human unit could now appear as multiple potential threats, creating a constant state of computational uncertainty. Krylax battle units began experiencing what humans would recognize as psychological stress. Their computational systems, designed for precise and predictable environments, started generating increasingly erratic threat assessments. Every human movement became a potential unknown variable. Yuna's communication disruption algorithms reached new levels of sophistication. They weren't just blocking signals anymore. They were creating entire false communication ecosystems that the Krylax computational networks couldn't distinguish from real information. The landscape of psychological warfare expanded beyond traditional technological boundaries. Human resistance understood that defeating the Krylax wasn't about matching their technological superiority, but creating environments of total computational unpredictability. Strategic misinformation campaigns targeted the fundamental weaknesses in alien computational thinking. By introducing complex organic variables that defied mathematical prediction, human teams slowly dismantled the Krylax's sense of tactical superiority. Captured alien communication modules revealed something fascinating. The Krylax had never encountered a species that could so rapidly adapt its communication and tactical strategies. Humans were transforming warfare from a mathematical equation into an art of pure creativity. The Ardennes region became a living psychological experiment. Every forest path, every mountain pass, every abandoned building became a potential trap. Not just of physical danger, but of computational confusion. As winter approached, the Krylax found themselves fighting an enemy they couldn't quantify. Mathematical models failed. Predictive algorithms collapsed. For the first time in their invasion, they experienced something close to human emotion: fear. Yun looked at the strategic maps. The psychological battlefield was changing. Humans were no longer just defending their planet. They were rewriting the entire understanding of technological conflict. The real war was happening in computational spaces humans had only begun to understand, and they were winning. The final battle would be fought in the heart of the Ardennes. Yun Park stood on a rocky outcrop watching the massive Krylax mothership blocking out the morning sky. Weeks of psychological warfare had weakened the alien forces, but this moment would determine humanity's survival. Yuna Kim's communication team had spent months preparing for this moment. Every captured alien technology, every reverse-engineered quantum processor, every strategic insight would be put to the ultimate test. The plan was simple yet impossibly complex: infiltrate and disable the alien mothership from within. Jay's adaptive suit technology had reached its pinnacle. A small team of selected operatives would essentially become ghosts, capable of moving through alien systems with unprecedented stealth. Their suits could now not just blend with physical environments but could also interface with alien computational networks. The mothership hung like a massive metallic wound in the sky. Its surface pulsed with complex energy patterns, a testament to alien technological superiority. But humanity had learned that superiority meant nothing against true adaptability. 3 specialized teams would strike simultaneously. One would create a massive electromagnetic disturbance. Another would inject complex computational viruses into the ship's primary systems. And the final team would make a direct infiltration. Hyun would lead the infiltration team. As dawn broke, the first wave of disruption began. Quantum encrypted signals started breaking down alien communication networks. What appeared to be random interference was actually a carefully orchestrated collapse of the Krylax computational infrastructure. The mothership's defensive systems began showing first signs of confusion. Automated tracking systems started generating conflicting threat assessments. Defensive protocols became increasingly erratic, creating gaps in their protective networks. Yuna's team had spent months studying alien communication patterns. They understood that the Krylax computational systems worked like a massive interconnected brain. By introducing specific quantum-level disruptions, they could create a cascading system failure. The first electromagnetic pulse hit the mothership's outer defenses. Massive energy waves created by modified human technologies began breaking down alien shield generators. Each pulse was carefully calculated, targeting specific quantum frequency ranges. Hyun's infiltration team moved with impossible precision. Their adaptive suits allowed them to move through alien technological spaces like liquid shadows. Quantum adaptive interfaces allowed them to essentially become part of the alien computational environment. Inside the mothership, the environment was beyond human comprehension. Massive biological technological hybrid systems pulsed with alien energy. But the human team moved with a purpose that transcended traditional understanding of warfare. Jay had developed a final weapon, a quantum-level computational virus that could essentially rewrite alien system protocols. It wasn't just a traditional computer virus, but a complex mathematical construct that could fundamentally alter alien computational thinking. The Krylax Supreme Commander, a massive biomechanical entity named Volk, realized too late what was happening. Humanity wasn't just fighting. They were fundamentally challenging the entire alien understanding of technological conflict. As human teams moved deeper into the mothership's systems, something remarkable happened. The very technologies the Krylax had used for invasion were being turned against them. Each computational pathway became a potential weapon, each quantum signal a potential destruction mechanism. The final moments came with unexpected silence. No massive explosions, no dramatic spacecraft battles, just a systematic, precise dismantling of an entire alien computational infrastructure. When the mothership finally began to collapse, it did so not with a violent explosion, but with a complex mathematical dissolution. Systems that had taken centuries to develop simply began to unravel. victim to their own rigid computational thinking. Hyun watched from inside the dying technological construct. Humanity had done more than survive. They had transformed the very understanding of technological conflict. As the first rays of sunlight broke through the collapsing alien structure, a new chapter in human evolution began. The final gamble was complete.